right, everybody. Welcome back to another Closeout Convo. A little bit of a different style video than I'm used to. Instead of recapping a challenge or something like that, we are going to delve kind of deep into the 100-mile week streak and how specifically it started. Okay. Brief recap before we start that of the week. Been a pretty even week, which I really like when I do. Pretty much that just means every day was between 10 and 16, except for Friday, which I did a triple. So, enjoyed that. Still have another 7 to do. I had a family gathering today, so a little bit pushed back. Gonna be a night run. 7 to go. And I've been sick this week, which kind of sucked, but worked through it. How did the 100-mile week start? First, we're going to go all the way back to when I didn't like running. Yes, there was a time that I could not stand running. Many people close to me can attest who've known me for, almost a decade. My junior year of high school, I really wanted nothing to do with running. Swimming was like my main sport, and I was okay. Like I was, always 8th, 9th, 10th on the team. And, I was running 18 something for a 5K. And, wasn't really into it. But one of my best friends and a rival in high school, Matt Rozalowski, him and I would go back and forth. And we went back and forth in track of my junior year. And at the end of that season, it was the day after Larry Steve or sometime around then, I was like, you know what? For my senior year, for cross country, because I knew the team was going to be really good, and we had a chance to win states, I was like, I want to be on the varsity team. So I just started running more and more and more throughout. I would do like random 2-mile runs at 10 p.m. just cause. And that, in turn, kind of motivated my teammates. I wrote a whole book about it. I did fall short. I was on varsity all year, but at the state meet, Jeremy Northrup, as the Chelsea cross-country runners of old would tell you, we had a head-to-head Stockbridge race to determine who would be the 7th man. I ended up just narrowly losing, but we both PR'd. And then we went on to win states, which is awesome. But I wouldn't say that it crushed me. I mean, it kind of did in the moment, but I sort of felt like, this is the start of something. Like I found kind of my thing. And then I'm like, okay, maybe I can go run in college. Like I got down to under 17, still had all of track season left. And I reached out to Tim Bauer at Siena Heights because I had a friend there, Liam Heaney, from the year before. He had graduated in 2017. So I decided to go to Siena Heights in January. And then on June 29th, 2018, I do my first summer training for Siena. And that is the last day, or the start of the running streak now that's continued until today. Been over 7 years now. But I just was like, okay, I'm going to be consistent with this. I want to be the best I can possibly be. And would go hard in workouts, all that stuff. And got down to 15:41 by December. So I went from 18:20s, I think it was like 18:26, and then 2 years later, 15:41. So, if you happen to be listening out there, and okay, I had to take a short break because I got back from a walk and was kind of going crazy. But, gonna continue. I think I was talking about going from 18:26 to 15:41 in the matter of 2 years. So now we're at the point where I'm feeling really good about this running thing. This is going to be like my thing. And amongst seasons, I just never took a day off just because for whatever reason in my brain, I was like, No, like if you take a day off, you know, you'll lose something. Even though now I know that's not really true. But then eventually it grew into kind of like, I'm just going to keep it going. So I got to separate the how and the why, because now I'm getting into a little bit of the why. But the how it started, pretty much, I wanted to be faster, okay, in high school and then in college. And then we get to past college. I've continued to run every day. During some summers, I got up to 120 in the summer between my sophomore and junior year. That was a little bit crazy to train for an 8K, but I still did it. So I was familiar with the 100-mile territory, so to speak. I think I was above 100 for 4 weeks straight. And then we get to after college, from May to August of 2022, right after I graduated at Siena, the first 4 weeks from like mid-May to mid-June, I only did 15 miles a week. I literally did 2 every day except for Sunday when I did 3. So after that, as I'm living in Minnesota, I start to build. And then when I get back, the week that I get back, I do 100. Now the plan was for me to keep going and eventually maybe get to 120, 130, maybe even 140. But I was just so tired. I'm like, and I'm working for Spartan at this time, which you have to travel a lot, and it was exhausting. So I'm like, okay, just stay at 100, like, you know, just keep this going. And then I did a few challenges, running from Chelsea High School to Siena Heights. That was one. And then the Waterloo Pinckney Trail as well. That was another. So I'm just kind of tired, okay? And then after even like 8 weeks or so, when I've done exactly 100, I'm like, okay, like I can keep this going. You know, my body can manage it well. And so why not just, you know, see how long I can do this? I didn't plan on necessarily doing it for 3 years like we are at today. But it was kind of like, you know, kind of like something to shoot for each week. And so how it started is pretty much I did 100 for 1 week and then did 100 for the next, and then said, we're just going to keep this going. And here we are today. How do I stay healthy throughout all this? That's a question that I get from people quite a bit. Honestly, I don't have an answer. That's usually what I say. I don't have an answer. I mean, the things that I do are I stretch every day, twice a day. But it's just basic stretches, nothing like fancy. I roll out, if something's like tight, like my knee was tight for a while in August, and I had to roll out my IT bands. But outside of that, every now and then I'll take an ice bath if I'm feeling really drained. But I think I just, you know, either got good genetics or like, somebody I know had a theory that it was like the shape of my body enabled me to like not get hurt, where like I didn't put pressure on a lot of my joints. I don't know if that's true, but whatever it is, it works. And there have been many weeks, Xander, Bram, Matt would all attest to, there have been many weeks where like I had to find something within me to keep the streak going. Times where I might have had to hobble, especially after the 100-mile attempt, after the 50-mile attempt, both of which I had to drop out of. But because so many races are on the weekends, I don't have a lot of time to get to 100, you know? So there have been a lot of close calls, not really many lately. In fact, none really even throughout this year. But the challenges this year have gone really well. But yeah, I think that answers it. How it all started and how I keep it going. It is a lot of a mind game. Like, for example, right now, I don't really want to go do 7 miles. But we'll get into this next week. why I do it. It's just something to shoot for every week. But I'll save that for next week. I kind of just rambled throughout this video, this closeout combo, but that's okay. Talking about the streak. Yeah, I think I'll save. I was about to say something, but I think I'm going to save it till next week. Because that'll be kind of, I think, the meatier video. This was how it all started, going all the way back to when I was, 16, 17. And then, 100-mile week streak since I've been 22. Now I'm 25. It's been over 3 years now. So, next week, talking about the why. Next week should also be a pretty standard week. But, I think that's it. Thanks for watching.